And the great John White, arguably the best loosehead prop Australia has ever produced, recalls the day he played against the All Blacks at Warren.
Well, this is Victoria Park at Warren, where we, in 1957, the combined Central West, Far West team played the All Blacks. And we had a lot of strong players, and we had a very good countryside in those days. John Stanbrook, for one, was the guy that was picked to play against the Springboks in 1956, and he had the edict from his father that he had to put in the wheat, so we'd have had tractors all over his place if he'd only told us, and we'd have had his wheat in 5 minutes, and he would have been remembered as one of the all-time great wingers had he played, but he didn't ever get asked again.
It was a bit of a coach's nightmare the seasons we go through, because they'll think they've got a side organised for Saturday and get a shower of rain and everybody's on the tractors, so it becomes a little bit awkward for the coaches, but the club seem to survive, and every club in the comp's under the same pressure. So
coaching out in this western area is not an easy thing when you you live at the end of a pretty ordinary party line, because you spend a lot of time on the telephone trying to track people down, and someone would call you up on Friday to let you know that they'd cut into their leg with a chainsaw or something through the day and wouldn't be able to play tomorrow.
In Warren, the basis of the town is obviously agriculture. The district was built on the merino industry, on the wool industry, and in more recent years, broadacre cropping. So anyone that's had anything to do with working out here in this sort of environment know that no matter how hard you try or how much work you get through, it'll always do its best to wipe the smile off your face. I remember 2010 comes immediately to mind. We grew the most magnificent crops, and we had about 20 inches of rain in about 4 weeks, and we basically watched it get washed down the creek. And then getting yourself up again, and the way it goes out here, we got the headers out and down she came again, so we lost the second one in a row to another flood in 2011. And I guess through all of that, something that always kept me sane was fronting up at footy training and having a yarn and a beer, and knowing that there was a lot of blokes doing the same as what you were doing.
It is important. It gets your mind off farming and droughts and things like that. You know, you've got another interest, you've got somebody you can talk to, and if you haven't got it, you know, it was very hard. Maybe that's why I played so long, because I just wasn't willing to give it up.
Living out here in the country, where sometimes blokes are spending hours upon hours either mustering sheep, drenching sheep, or on their tractors, it's important for them to have that social contact. Great way to meet people, not only in your own district.
Bus trip to Breoba, half crook when you're back.
Yeah, well, travelling is another great thing about the competition. I mean, this is what makes it unique, where there's a lot of distance between a lot of the towns. So we all pile on the bus.
You're the Trevor! Congrats, mate.
And at times it takes us 3 or 3.5 hours on the road to get out to Burke or Bree, and we all pile off and play a game of football, and then it takes us about 10 hours to get home.
Got any crops in?
We're the toughest team in town!
So 2003 was the last premiership winning team. Since then, we've had a tough slog. The club, in about 2008 or 9, I remember having a discussion with the president as to whether we thought there was a future to keep the club running. But that conversation was, what's the next move to make sure the club keeps functioning until we come out the side of the lull.
Teams are battling as we speak to make numbers to keep the competition going, but that gives with all sport out here in the West, and rugby's not insulated from what's happening across the economy and the farming community. There's just not the bodies out here that there used to be